Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion out here in the woods. I am so pumped. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am here today in the woods with post-wedding, post-great time hair. Not going to apologize. Can't apologize for that. In fact, I'm grateful for that, honestly. So, just, rolled up and at it today, thinking about and inspired by the weddings to talk about relationships and longevity and that these are the fuel for life, and I think we underestimate the power. And so this is wedding season for many. It's kind of like you get married yourself if you choose to get married. Then there's this huge gap for a couple of decades because you kind of age out of it, and then it's all back because if you choose to have kids, they're married, they're getting married, and their friends are getting married, and your friends' kids are getting married, and blah blah blah. So 10 months ago, our youngest son got married. Our oldest son got married in June, and my godson got married less than 24 hours ago, last night, at one of the most beautiful venues. At all three of the venues, all three boys, young men, had gorgeous venues. I mean, just all very different, very different. One at Shelburne Farms, like a vineyard, not Shelburne Farms, but anyway, a vineyard, gorgeous. Another one in kind of the historical part of Boston, and then last night was on the top of the world, overlooking a lake and mountains. I mean, just all three beautiful venues, but that isn't even really it. That just kind of added to the whole thing because ambiance and stuff. It's all, weddings are spiritual, at least to me. So the reason I was inspired to have this chat is because I couldn't help at all three of these weddings. Obviously, yesterday's the most current because that's in my head. At Aiden's wedding first, and Ryan's, and then Andy's. The people, three different sets of families, obviously, all coming together with the generations, 3 to 4 generations, all together. And last night I couldn't help looking around, which I also did in June with Ryan's, and I also did in December with Aiden's, to just, wow. I mean, it was so wonderfully overwhelming, when you think about having everybody in your life in under one roof. I mean, it's fantastic, and it's just overwhelming. I couldn't help looking around, the cute little ring boys in their little tuxes, having no clue about renting a tux, obviously at 8, and so it didn't take long for those jackets to come off, and they were rolling in the grass and and having a great time, completely untucked and having a ball, and looking around at all the older folks, like the patriarchs and matriarchs of the family, and then everybody in the middle, people, working through marriage stuff, maybe, like, who knows? You don't know when you're at a thing and everybody's dancing and having fun, right? There was one person also on crutches who had recent surgery. There's just all kinds of stuff. And the thing is, when you look around it, and it just happy, right? Great food and wine and laughing and dancing and just so much. And I can't help to think about the effort that it takes. Not just the effort that went into putting these 3 beautiful weddings together, and just, the months, weeks and weeks and weeks and months of putting all that effort in. I'm talking about the actual relationships, because you don't get, 30, 90, or 122 people in one room that are all for different ages. They came from all over. They flew in, whatever, without a ton of relationship effort, because human beings are complicated, right? We're complicated, we're complex, and just be able to be in each other's lives. I'm not even talking about just the marriages. I'm talking about everybody, siblings and cousins and friendships. And, there were friends from, at all these weddings, or at literally all three of them, there were friends from high school, friends from college, just all a whole big mix. And just think about how much work it takes. And I think we forget that sometimes. It's like, we know we have to put work. We know we have to make an effort with our education, right? It starts, well, hopefully all the way along. But the light bulb really goes on in high school with guidance counselors and stuff. And then with college, if that's your route, you got to put a ton of effort in college, because, everybody there is hopefully there to learn, and they're making an investment, and it's costly and all that stuff. And that takes a big effort. You kind of know you have to make the effort to graduate, right? I mean, it's like kind of like the gloves are off in college. You got to earn it big time. And then, career-wise, you got to be on your toes. You got to really put up, you got to, put your best feet forward in order to, do the world. I don't know how else to say it, because the world can be hard. ton of good people out there. I'm a big fan of the world. To me, it's like one big playground with, stuff to learn, people to meet all day, every day. It's a big playground. Little G thinks it's a playground too. And that said, it's still hard. I mean, we've been talking about it lately with the challenging personas and the petty stuff and the politics. Definitely the politics, and politics are everywhere. I don't care what kind of field you're in. And it takes a lot to navigate through that. And I think we kind of know we have to put effort into that. And we know that sometimes we have to quote unquote play the game. I'm not a huge fan of game playing in that way. However, we know that sometimes you got to just, throw a couple of sentences on a document or something just to make it pack, So we have to do that. We also have to be able to read the room to do that. So it takes just a lot of effort. And I think we know that it takes a lot of effort to do well in sports, in high school and college. And if you go past that, good for you. It takes even a lot of effort to raise a puppy all the way to being a beautiful little guy like Giovanni. Then if you choose to be parents, that's obviously falls into our relationship category. Though it takes a lot of just sometimes basic needs effort. You're up with them and they're throwing up, or you're knee deep in juice boxes and diapers. Effort. But when I was looking around the room last night and also the other two weddings, I just thought, wow, because it means, I think we just take a lot of it for granted sometimes. Like, we know that effort goes into these other things. Like I said, education, jobs, putting in effort to put your house together. Oh, there go the bear noises. Okay. But relationships, we tend to take advantage and we tend to put them on the back burner, I think sometimes. Not on purpose. We know we love our people, but we tend to put them on the back burner because we just sort of assume that it's all going to be fine. Like, we just kind of expect for our loved ones to be there, and they are. But here's the thing. This is what made me think of, stay right here, G. What made me think of is the famous Harvard study, which I've talked about before, and how the number one is relationships. Like, we know that to be true. And we know that, and it doesn't mean toxic ones or even just not good ones, because there's a whole range of that, right? There's just like challenging, and then there's poison. It means those you can actually count on no matter what. The people you could call at 3 o'clock in the morning and know you could count on them no matter what. And there was a room full of these people all 3 times. Just boom, boom, boom. Just the wonderful, wonderful people. And we're not, just, my husband says, like, looking through rosy glasses. I forget what he says. He used to say sometimes, you're in Puff and Stuff land, and not just age me, because if anybody knows Puff and Stuff. No, it means that it's really gotten real, and there, of course, have been confrontations. If you look around that room, of course there have been, and there have been hurt feelings, and there's been sadness, and there's been stuff to get through and get over. Maybe there were words said. Maybe people didn't talk to each other for a while, or who knows. But the fact in that room at that moment, times 3, everybody was together, dancing and smiling and having a grand old time to celebrate the couples who are starting their lives together. And so I just wanted to have a very inspired chat about that, because relationships take effort. And so with the Harvard study, the famous longitudinal study, which means super credible and reliable, because it means that the researcher passed it on. So the researcher that starts it doesn't finish it because it goes past their life expectancy. So these are so incredibly useful, these longitudinal studies. They started out, I think, in the early 1900s, and it's still going today at this minute. And they found out that the number one for longevity, living a long, healthy, and high-quality life, is relationships. And relationships take effort. I don't care if you're born into the family, it's a chosen family, they're your siblings or your own parents or whatever. It takes effort to make it really fantastic, to just have this wonderful, wonderful, high-quality existence in this life, in this present moment. That's it. Relationships plus effort equal longevity and happily ever after. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful northern Vermont. I think with Bear very close to me. Have a mindful day.